Hey y'all, let's pull a Valentine's Day reading, shall we? This reading is specifically for those of you who are not particularly involved in a relationship right now. It could be a situationship, it could be you're waiting to hear back from someone, it could be an ex, it could be someone who ghosted, maybe you ghosted them. This is like who's still energetically attached to you, but you are very much sort of single and um, free to explore relationships. This isn't really for those of you who are in a relationship, but that can go a lot of different ways in the energy. You might be energetically tied to someone strong enough that it looks like a relationship on my end. So let's take a look. We do have the Three of Cups. We're using the Cars deck, an oldie but goodie. I'm glad to be using this deck today. Very auspicious for a Valentine's Day reading, and we are reading reversals. It'll be really easy to spot with this deck because we're going to do 5. And I'm going to pull the clarifiers from the same deck. All right, so we've got the 10 of Pentacles, we've got the 4 of Wands, we've got the Knight of Swords, the 9 of Pentacles, the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, there is, as you can see, this sort of de-escalation. I think whoever is attached to you, just right from the surface, it's a little bit more than that. The de-escalation is a minor piece of this, but there is a de-escalation in terms of what they want to bring to you versus what they actually bring to you. This is really auspicious though, y'all. This is really interesting. We've got a lot of this is this is Valentine's Day presents is what this is. This is Valentine's Day roses, gifts, big gifts. I'm seeing like really big like expressions of love, like this is the year, this is the energy where they just like, rather than get you a little bouquet of flowers, they go all out and get the 4 dozen long stem roses. Like that's what this energy is. Like go big or go home. That's what I'm hearing. Go big or go home. Like that's what they're like, oh, should I get them this? Nope. I don't want them to be able to miss this. I am getting, there's like I feel the 7 of Pentacles is here too. I wonder if it wasn't underneath the 8 of Pentacles. There is an energy. I definitely think the underlying, let me just clarify a little bit first, but I think there's an underlying apology here. This isn't just those of you who were waiting to hear from someone and everything was okay the last time you met. Okay? Something happened. There's an apology underneath all this, but they really do feel very emboldened right now. There's a lot of passionate movement and a lot of boldness from their end. It's almost like they are going to take, and I don't really want to give anyone false hope, and I don't want to this is just on the surface with these 5 cards and with this energy, but it is really like they're going to make such a big gesture that you won't be able to say no, right? That they'll kind of make up for everything else. It's almost like they've been waiting for Valentine's Day to have, even though they don't need a freaking excuse, They have been waiting for Valentine's Day to make this gesture. They could have definitely done it before, but they feel like this is when they needed to do it. Okay, so we have the Ten of Wands under the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, there has been, oh, and the Devil. The Devil, the World, and the Hanged Man. You guys, all upright. 3 major arcana to explain the Ten of Pentacles. This is definitely a soulmate. This is someone who, I think in their heart of hearts, the perspective that they have now is that you really were the answer to all of their prayers, and you really were like the best case scenario of happiness in their life, and they feel like they were the ones who have total responsibility of crushing it. I feel like that they definitely knew that they had you at one point and they let you go, but there is real consolation or encouragement from them that they still have you. All they have to do is make this big gesture. But this is super powerful. Like, they are hell bent on this, y'all. If this has any resonance at all, it's like, it's almost a little too much, to be honest. It's almost like they think that you're going to solve all their problems. Like, and maybe you will actually, but it's hard. You put anybody on a pedestal that high, it's hard because, we all do stupid shit. We all make mistakes. We all have our moments, and you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. And I'm not sure they're saying you're perfect, but you sure are on a hell of a pedestal, you guys. Hell of a pedestal. It's almost like, well, definitely, I think you probably knew this, that they don't feel like they're quite worthy of you. But they think that if they try, they can level up. I think that's the difference in this energy right now with the new moon, is they have felt this feeling of they're a little inferiority complex driven, and this energy with this full moon and Valentine's Day and everything else happening, they feel like maybe they have a chance to be at your level. It's not such an inferiority complex. It's not such an imposter syndrome. They're like, wait, no, I can't, maybe I can do this. It's almost like they got enough of a distance from the relationship. I don't know if you cut off ties with them or stopped, maybe blocked them. There was enough of a shift in the energy where the umbilical cord was cut between you two that they got a new perspective. Woo! And I feel like that new perspective is what they needed to feel like they could level up, because for maybe even years, months, years, decades, they felt like they weren't quite good enough or at your level, but something's changed in them. Okay, what's up with the Four of Wands? I've had so many. The cards are really working with me in terms of the reversals, because I've had cards fall and then I've put them back upside down. So it's been, I never read reversals, so this has been a journey. But why not? We're back for now. I'm doing one reading. See what happens after that. Four of Wands. Why is it here? Man, the universe is being very specific here. This is for now that I got into the nitty gritty, and now that I've told you guys so much. Oh, God. Okay. Wow. And they're very slippery and sliding all over me. Yeah, Six of Wands. The Six of Wands with the Four of Wands. That's a very passionate reconnection is what that is. That's a very, very passionate reconnection. The King of Swords. Yeah. I told you they had big ideas. They had this big idea of this grand gesture. It's almost like I didn't need to tell you that, because here we go. The King of Swords, Ace of Cups, and the Hermit. It's like there is, okay, there's something in the energy too that says like maybe in the last couple of years things have, and whether you guys are energetically like a couple or whether you've been on and off again or whether you haven't seen them in years, I feel like the energy behind you two it's flat. It's been flat for the last like little cycle, whether that's been a year or 2 years, or you know what, if it resonates, it resonates. It's been flat, and they realize that. What your person is remembering is back at the beginning when you two met energetically or in reality, right? So it could have even been a past life. However y'all met before, when you met originally, when you first came in contact with this energy and your energies collided, it was something else, right? And it flattened out recently for whatever reason. They recognize that and they think they know exactly what they need to do to get you back to where you were. And this is a sexy energy. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of lust cards, but trust me, there's lusty energy behind this. It's almost like they're thinking about it in a very matter-of-fact way. And I mean, this is really, really specific, but it's almost like you guys were doing something really, like, let's say you were doing like, you know, aerobatics, right? In your intimate life when you met, and you don't have to have really met, but sort of your energy was there, like doing aerobatics during your intimate times. And then all of a sudden you started doing missionary every single time. And that's what it's been like. Well, they have the idea to get back to this sort of aerobatic sort of experience. And I don't know if that's part of their gift or not, but it's pretty intense. Okay, Knight of Swords. What is the Knight of Swords? That word is not sounding right today. Aerobatic? Aerobic? No, aerobatics. My vocabulary always leaves me when I do cards. It feels very youthful and optimistic, this energy. They've got a lot of energy and ambition behind this. And I do get sort of the you know, if this doesn't work, then fuck it sort of thing. Like, you know, like they're not even considering a plan B, and they're not even thinking real long term. This is not a long-term energy. They're thinking this is what they're going to do to get you to pay attention to them after this amount of time, whether it's a gift, spicing up your love life, coming in like they did originally, you know, like this is serious. Like, I want to apologize. I want to have this big gesture of my love. I see them in a whole new way. They are my amazing other half. They're my amazing partner, and everything is going to be great once we get back together. There's that. But then it's like they only plan for the meeting. They don't even want to think past Valentine's Day or whatever. Pretty much past Valentine's Day. They don't want to think about it. It's like whatever happens, happens. I don't really love that. I'm a planner, right? And I think, it's always good to have an idea of what you could do. Now, some people live their life with no plan B and they do great. But I don't know, you might want to think about it a little bit. Like, what's your next step when everything goes well? How about that? Just think that far ahead. What's your next step when everything goes great? All right, we have the Star underneath the Knight of Swords. Yeah, they're bringing some fresh news. So this is reversed. We've got the Two of Pentacles reversed. Okay. They really want, oh God, the High Priestess and the Ten of Wands. So they're really bringing you a strong gift. But once again, I feel like they haven't this is the same story that we've pulled many, many times within this energy and this sort of soulmate connection, as it were, in terms of the cycle of energy. They really haven't changed their life. They've changed their perspective on you. They now might really recognize that you're their better half, that you're the best thing that maybe ever happened to them. But in the meantime, they haven't rearranged in their life what they need to rearrange in order to make room for you. Does that make sense? I think they have this lot of passion, lot of ambition, lot of movement, and a lot of thought behind the gift or the proclamation or the energy that they give to you around this time in Valentine's Day, and this feeling of love. It really is almost a higher calling for them. They really feel like they are driven to do this by something greater than themselves. But again, their real life, it is spiritual. And if this resonates with you, then you've had this sort of spiritual connection with this person and you haven't been able to get them out of your head for one reason or another. You might obsess about them sometimes and think about them every day. Well, the feeling is mutual. The feeling is mutual. And having that kind of connection on a spiritual level, it does have problems present themselves in the 3D, because oftentimes you'll see this when couples come together when they're nothing alike, right? One of them might crochet in the corner every night, and one of them's out there on the road playing gigs, all across Texas. They might be very different people, but they have a spiritual connection. And sometimes the differences in the 3D are really hard to overcome. And it could be a matter of other obligations, whether it be family or work or maybe societal. Like, this energy was very strong in times when it was really hard for two people who were of the same sex, who loved each other, and it was hard for them, and it still is hard for them in certain cultures, even America sometimes, I digress, to come out, right? So it's that type of energy where it's like there's this spiritual connection, and when you're together, it is like a whole other dimension, whole other existence. But then once you get back with your friends, your family, your job, you want to hold on to this little piece, just anything, hold on to it as an anchor of this connection that is almost your connection to a higher purpose, right? It's almost that strong. But it gets hard, right? To maintain your everyday three-dimensional existence and have a level of importance which propels you to succeed in that reality, and then also have this spiritual connection, especially if your 3D lives are not complementary. And that's especially what we're talking about here, is your 3D lives might not be complementary, and that's what's keeping you from each other. Another aspect of this is that there might be a huge age difference between you. There might be a culture difference. There might be an issue of cultural challenges within your relationship, whether it be a same-sex relationship or a different type of sexual fluidity. Your 3D lives aren't that compatible. And what they've done so far to ensure a 3D success when they come forward is nothing. Not really. Not what I see. They're just counting on this 3D thing. I mean, that's a really great aspect of this sort of immaturity of this side, the incoming side, this energy that I've been talking about. I mean, that's one of the benefits of being immature about this, is that we do see sort of things as like love conquers all and all we need is love and that type of thing. But one of you, I'm not sure one of you sees it like that. And I think it's probably you. So you're like, no, we need to pay the rent. All right, Nine of Pentacles, what is it here? My advice to you is to be conscious of their intent. Like, don't be mad at them if they didn't do any changes. When you get this gift, this love, this inquiry, this proclamation, don't immediately say, well, what have you done to fix your situation with XYZ? And do you have room for me in your life yet? No? Okay, then bye. I don't think that's going to help things. If you want to do that, whatever, it's your thing. But I don't think it's going to help. To sort of continue this chapter, I would just say thank you very much. What do you want to do to proceed? See where they're coming from. See how far they've thought this out. I don't think they've thought this out very far. So you might want to encourage them to think about it, All right, why is the Nine of Pentacles here? Universe being persnickety now. I think we're running out of cards, because I'm using the same deck, but that's okay. I will figure it out, okay? The meanings of the cards aren't necessarily going to be just clearly surface readings. What's funny is almost all these cards have rearranged themselves to the upright position. Almost there. I feel confident about that. It's not great, but the star, again, with the star. Yeah, I feel like a little bit like y'all are getting a wish fulfilled. Like really a manifestation is finally coming forward. It could be years, but I really feel like that. Interesting. Death card. The Ace of Swords. And the Six of Pentacles. This is a tough energy though, because on one hand, the universe is like, no, Rose, all that shit you just said, No, no, no. They've actually changed a little bit. And I don't know if I should believe it. Because I just said they haven't changed that much about their life. They still have too much going on, and there's this conflict in y'all's 3D world. But maybe they've changed it more than I thought, or maybe they have an idea. Better yet, maybe they have an idea of how they will change it, but they don't. And this is kind of chicken shit. My bullshit detector is like really high right now, so but it's almost like they've given it enough thought, and they know what they need to do if you say yes. They know how to move forward, how to cut obligations, how to get clear and get focused on what they need to do if you say yes, if you're part of their life. They have a plan. They don't want to do it until you do. They're like hedging their bets, and I don't like that part of it at all. Because if you're really serious about this, go ahead and clean this shit up before you guys come back into their lives. Go ahead and clean that up. Don't wait until they say yes. That's a little bit chicken shitty, not to mention the manifestation implication of that is if you're not putting pieces into place that allow you to grab a hold onto what you're trying to manifest, it's probably going to say no, right? So I don't really love that, but they have planned it out, and they think it's best case scenario, right? They're willing to let some things go, let some things die for this connection. But I do very much get like it has to be on their terms. Again, I do kind of see this as selfish energy. Nowhere here am I seeing that they're coming forward so that they can take care of you. I'm not seeing any cards of empathy, of attention, of focus, of care and concern for you. If they want to do this and they do this and they give you the most amazing present, like I was saying, if they give you 3 dozen long stemmed roses and they send them to your work and they make it a big deal, and then they show up at your doorstep on Valentine's Day and just love on you. I'm just saying, it might not be because they want to give to you. They might want to make room for you so that they can have what they think they need to make their life amazing. That kind of sucks too. I mean, but if you can get them to figure out, hey, I have needs and feelings and desires as well, and I'd love to know that you're intent on making me happy and abating my fears and what's best for both of us. And I think one of those non-negotiables that you need to throw out there is this is it, like if it's been a backwards and forwards situationship, then I need some clarification and some real strong commitment that you're going to be in my life for the long haul and you're not going to disappear when you think you want to disappear. All right. Yeah, I'm not done shuffling. Sorry. I was like, no, that is definitely not it. 8 of Pentacles. Why is the 8 of Pentacles here? What are they doing with Pentacles? There are a lot of Pentacles here, and that's one of the reasons why I think it is mostly about what they want and what they want in this 3D world. But there's this conflict. Okay, this is it, y'all. We have, oh, you guys. I told you I was going to read them upside down. What card is still upside down? The Lovers. The Lovers reversed. That's the bottom card, though, at least. Okay. The Empress. We have another reversal. The Two of Swords. Yeah. And the Star is back. I feel like there is some room for you to really have a reckoning with this. This is all about you, as it usually is. The last card in a 5-card spread. I think you're gonna have this. You're gonna have a thing on Valentine's Day or whenever it is in this energy. If the person ends up coming towards you, remember that all of this can just sort of happen on their end, and they can have this feeling and intention of wanting to give you all of this and then never follow through on it, okay? But the feeling and the intention is definitely there. So if they don't show up on Valentine's Day, they don't show up, right? But in the meantime, I see this as show up or not, you're going to have a real moment of almost like tallying the pros and cons. Like I literally see you like with a piece of paper and pen writing reasons they suck, reasons they don't suck. Like I love them because, and I hate them because. There's almost, you really are going to have to do a pros and cons list. I'm saying, like, I don't necessarily recommend that, but I see you doing that, like indecisive of whether you let this potential hurt come back into your life. That's huge. Do you let this potential hurt come back into your life when you know that it's based on their selfish, regardless of how new and wonderful their perspective is, it's their selfish drive. This here too, where they haven't changed their life. They have an idea. Okay, if they say yes, this is what I'm going to do, but I refrain from making changes until I know it's secured, until I know the bag's in. You know, so I really see you as being pros and cons, pros and cons, pros and cons. But I feel like as you write that list of pros and cons, there's an equal number of both, right? And I think that is going to make it really hard for you to decide. And what I'm suggesting is that on one hand, I'm going to make it harder because on one hand, if there's an elaborate list of cons, like literally your person could be a con, an actual criminal, or convict. I think if there's such a long list of cons, like if you're trying to elevate your life, if you're trying to get to a position where you're comfortable and where you're satisfied and where you're like happy and healthy and vibrant in a world like this, then, you know, gosh, do you want to mess with that? And then on the other hand, a connection like this is absolutely impossible to find, right? So this literally might be your one connection in a lifetime that is this powerful. So yeah, I understand your dilemma there for sure, because it isn't all about somebody's actions in the 3D, and it's not all about a connection that might be really strong, but it's not all about that, right, either. So you have this polarity that you're really trying to discern afterwards. So I would say, you know, if this person does come forward, or if you feel their energetic presence around you, that echo consciousness that I talk about, if you feel it, then, and you find yourself in this indecisive, you know, the exact situation I was just talking about, they're absolutely, you know, soulmate, twin flame material. But on the other hand, look at all these things and the ways that they've run and the things that they've done to me. I would say just get as far away from that decision as you possibly can. Like, because the Empress energy doesn't really fit well into this indecisive, panic stricken sort of tally, right? You just get away from it if you can. And meditate and do other stuff. I don't think you can do anything wrong in this energy, regardless of what your response is to them. Please don't think that anything that you do, if they come forward, literally, I don't think anything you do, whether it's telling them to go F themselves or whether it's accepting the gift and making love that night, it doesn't matter. This connection is the way it's going to be. I don't think anything that either of you do in this energy or on this Valentine's Day is either going to lock down or shake loose the connection at all. So it's kind of like a free-for-all in some ways. Like, it's kind of just part of your life story and part of this experience. And it might be amazing and there's opportunities to come together in this energy, but just, keep your wits about you and let them know what you expect going forward, if that's what you decide to do. That's your reading. Remember that there aren't any readings that come out of a vacuum, right? And all readings are influenced by the reader as well as the time in which they're pulled. Thanks, guys. Happy Valentine's Day.